How much did you trip yourselves up at the beginning, and how hard did it make it with mistakes?
Oh no, the game was the energy of both sides was there to be seen at the start. I thought Sydney were really up for the game, and coming off their bye, you could see they'd had some time, and we were something similar over the last couple of weeks. We've been able to produce what they did to us a little bit, but today we certainly didn't start the game the way we needed to, and we chased the whole day.
Was it mistakes of your making, or do you think their pressure was such that forced you into those turnovers?
No, I think it's probably a little bit of both, not one or the other completely, but I think their pressure was really strong early, and once you create that mindset in the opposition, you can tend to make some more perceived mistakes, I would have thought.
Just the difficulty scoring too, Ken, was that, again, part your work and part Sydney's defensive setup? Or?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's always got a lot to do with the opposition. As I said, we couldn't get any entries, and we're going to have 35 entries or something for the day. So if you don't get entries, you're going to find it really hard to score. To be fair, the scoreboard was flattering.
Over possession, did you feel like?
No, I hate that conversation around over possession. Over possession comes about because of the opposition's pressure, I reckon, as much. So we disregard what their pressure's doing to us, and that will lead you, Matt, to a few extra handballs under pressure, because I think that's just the heat in which they close the space, and that does come out like that at times. But I don't think it's a deliberate ploy. It's just something that the opposition force you into too much.
So the such low number of inside 50s then, what did you actually put that down to?
We couldn't take the territory when we needed to at the right time, But again, I think that comes back to the pressure the opposition put us under to be able to clear that initial bubble. And if you don't clear that initial bubble, you're going to find it really hard to get a number of entries. And we were a bit slow. I thought we were a bit slow at times, held up. They defended us pretty well.
Yeah, some basic turnovers as well.
Yeah, some basic turnovers. Again, that comes through, I think, from what the game's making you feel out there.
So what's it do for the big picture? You were on a tightrope as it was. Do you still believe there's something to chase?
Oh, yeah, we'll always continue to believe there's something to chase. You don't expect me to sit up here and say anything different to that. We've got an opportunity to play again Thursday night. I think that's what we've got to do. We've got to move quickly past today and understand that it wasn't at a level that we have been for the last 2 weeks, and get our heads back into Thursday night really quickly. So that's where we'll spend our time. We'll acknowledge that we've been pretty solid for the first 2 weeks, two out of the first 3 weeks out of the bye, and we just need to get back there on Thursday night.
We talked about the confidence rising the other day. What does that result do to the confidence?
We can allow it to have a big effect, or you can just go, no, as I just said, we've been better than that 2 out of the last 3. We've played a much better brand of football, and we know that's what we're capable of. And we also know what the key ingredients are to play like that brand of football, and that is to handle some of the pressure at times. It is to take territory when you need to. It is not to make fundamental skill errors at times, but we need to just get back to training and make sure we're ready to go Thursday.
Contested possessions seems to be a theme as well.
Yeah, it's been there. It's been there most of the year. We certainly don't win a lot of battles in the contest possession. You know all the things that make up contest possession. They're not one simple thing. There's a lot of different things. We're undersized a little bit in the forward half at times. That'll lead itself to contested possession. We're not a great free kicks against team. That'll lead itself to that, and also, willingness to get in and crack in sometimes will also lead itself to that.
You got any options to change anything up in that forward half to give you more targets? Or do you think you just?
I think we can ask ourselves that very question. Where do we want to have a look, and where can we explore? We've at times thought about Asava, but he's been so good for us down the other end of the ground that you don't want to mess with that too much. So we've tried. We've actually been pretty creative with lots of things that we've done this year, and we've put 2 rucks out there today, which obviously didn't work, and Brodie Grundy was enormous. So we're not against trying different stuff. It's just what's the next option for us.
So what's the timeline on Lukosius then? Is there any more?
We're hopefully he'll play some footy next weekend. So that obviously helps a lot if we can get him up and going. But Jack's let's not put too much on him. He's missed a damn lot of footy, and whatever we get for the back half of this year will be somewhat of a bonus going forward.
How's it looking with Wines for next week?
Sorry.
With Ollie.
Yeah, right here, right now, I'd say at very best 50-50. Asava Lear probably a little bit better than that. So, we've got some, and again, we have no sample game, so that's one positive for us, that we've got good form in the sample. We've got some fresh people that we can bring and put into the side on a 5-day turnaround.
Yeah, a few guys seem to be carrying some shoulder issues today. How's Miles, Manny?
Yeah, well, hey, contact sport. That's just what happened. Miles has carried his shoulder for the best part of the year, so that's just, every now and then he gets a whack on it and it can flare it up and look a little bit sorer than it is. Manny, I think, again, the stinger on his shoulder, I wouldn't have thought there's too many things to worry about there.
When did the change for the lineup happen? How did that play out with Berry and Finlayson? When did you know that you had to make that change?
8 o'clock this morning.
So you just woke up not well, or
Yeah. Well, as everyone knows, we've had
Yeah.
a fair bit of flu around, and every team has, every club has, every human in every state at the moment. There seems to be a lot of flu, and we've had a good dose of it go through the footy club, and we just see how they are on leading into the game, and then when you get a phone call in the morning, you go, well, it's not surprising that we've lost a player with the amount of people that have had sick over the last 2 or 3 weeks.